Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to this edition of The Buzz. Everything that's going on at Abington High School as far as the athletic world, everything that's happening in Green Wave Nation. My name is Shawn Reilly. I'm your host, and today this show is featuring basically the wrap-up of the fall 2023 season. We've had a very successful season in many of our sports teams, and to start off today's show, we want to bring in two of our senior captains from our Abington cheerleading competition squad. Want to welcome aboard. We have Maddie Murphy and Emma Maly. Welcome aboard, ladies.
Thank you.
First of all, I know this is your first time on TV with us. We're very excited to have you guys. I know that the life of a cheerleader has evolved and changed over the last 2 or 3 decades, where it's not necessarily cheerleading now. You guys are basically a full-blown acrobatic squad. You two are not only members of the football sideline cheerleading squad, but you're also a member of the competition squad that represent Abington High School, right?
Right. Yes.
So tell me a little about how did you guys get into cheerleading? How did you start off, Maddie?
We started off in second grade youth, and we had like a bunch of girls back then, and then through the years, like once we got up to high school, there's only 2 of us left now.
2 of you seniors left, right? And Maddie, you started second grade also?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
So what is it about cheerleading that attracted you?
We both played a little bit in club as well, and that it just was really fun to be with our friends. And
You played club cheerleading or club sport?
Club cheerleading.
Right.
We did a little bit of both, and it was really fun to like get into the sport and then get the competitive aspect between both, and it turned into like more seriousness when it became to high school, but it's still become really fun.
So anyone who's gone to one of your competitions has seen that it's not just kicking the heels together and pom-poms, it is acrobatics, it is gymnastics, it is strength and conditioning. How do you guys prepare yourselves, not only for the competition themselves, but just for your practices? I mean, what you do could be dangerous, really. I mean,
Right.
it's you guys really push the limits. How do you prepare for some of the stunts you do?
It takes a lot of training, and like I think a lot of repetition is really important. We've tried to push to the girls to like do some outside practice as well, because a lot of cheer is independence, and then a lot of it is a team. So it takes a mix of both, I think, to get our endurance up and be training outside of the practices as well. On top of
So Maddie, do you take gymnastics to kind of prepare or help? Or some of the girls do gymnastics training to help as cheerleading, or is it specific cheerleader training?
There's like, you can go to like competitive gyms and like practice tumbling there. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys did, or is it something more that you've kind of formulated your own kind of workout?
I like to go to a gym and get like individual practice with like an individual coach.
Yeah.
It really helps to like get reps in outside of practicing, so then when we do practice, it's more natural.
So how has the experience been as a Green Wave cheerleader from when you were a freshman, the little kid on the team coming in, to now you're a senior captain? How has your role kind of changed? What was it like being a freshman at the high school level?
Our freshman year was like weird because of COVID.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so we didn't have like, it was like fall too, I think.
Yeah.
So we didn't really have a competition team that year. And then the next year I got hurt, so I was out.
What was the injury?
Concussion.
Really?
And then I got a concussion the year after that too. So this is like my second time going to States.
Well, I'm glad you made it
Yeah.
for your senior year especially. How about your experience as a freshman moving through the ranks up to a senior captain?
I think COVID definitely was a struggle, but being a sophomore, we kind of like got thrown into it. It was like an expectation and like know what you were doing, and that was tough, but I think.
And you know, in every sport, you have to depend on your teammates to be successful.
Right.
In cheerleading, when you're literally throwing someone in the air above you, and not only are you, the person being thrown is hoping and trusting that you'll be caught, but there's a lot of trust you have to build amongst each other. How do you do that? I mean, is it just by practice and repetition, or I don't know how does it work that way in a cheerleading squad?
We need to have like a good relationship throughout the team. So like we'll hang out like after practices. Like we do pasta parties before the football games.
Yeah.
And like we all get ready before the competitions.
Kind of just get that unity together and you get focused.
Yeah.
I was there at the Social League competition, which was held here at Abington High School. It was a pretty exciting night. There was 7 or 8 teams competing against each other. How do you guys feel you did that night?
A lot better than we had been doing. We started off a little bit rough in our invitationals, but I feel like that was our our breakthrough that built our confidence up.
Now, before we went on the air, we were talking, and you were saying a couple of years ago, you didn't feel like you guys were playing your best or performing at your best, but you've seen a lot of progress, is that right?
A lot of improvement, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, give me, like, what has improved in your eyes?
I think when we started the season this year, it was a struggle to work together, and I think that it took like a lot of frustration and like a lot of, there's some arguing. It takes a lot
Sure.
to like build the trust together, but once we kind of figured it out and like worked together and really like worked for the same goal, we started to improve.
Did you like the responsibility of being a captain? It can be difficult at times, but it can also be rewarding.
It's hard, but I think it's worth it to see like everyone gets happy.
Yeah.
Everyone likes the wins and the
It's good when you win.
working hard.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Tell me a little, let's go over some of the names of some of the other girls that are on your competition squad. I know, as I said, there's no I in the word team. Everyone puts it together. So you two are the captains.
Yeah.
And who are some of the other girls that are on the list? We had, you and I were talking about it again. Maeve Duquette.
She
Yeah.
plays a big role, yeah.
And then go ahead, you tell me who's the remainder of them.
Maeve, Shay, Taylor, they're juniors. They play a huge role. They've been like super helpful with like, thinking of new ideas for the routine and putting in like their own talent
Yep.
towards. They've done it in youth as well.
And
so
they've like improved a lot, and they like keep on like working hard.
Great.
they're a good asset. And Sam has come a tremendous amount.
He's a
from-
sophomore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just from the year itself, he's improved so much.
Excellent. You need
It's
that.
so noticeable too.
And you have Lila and Michaela.
Yeah, and the freshmen are so talented.
They're freshmen.
Yeah.
They're very
Freshmen.
talented. There's a few freshmen on the team. I think there's 5. Lila, Chloe, Avery, Jocelyn.
Yeah.
They're super talented.
So what is? I know there's a name of the girl that you throw in the air. What is she?
The Flyers.
The Flyers.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, obviously, it's usually the smaller, thinner, lighter person.
Yeah.
So, are they freshmen?
I'm a flyer.
You're a
I'm
flyer.
I'm one
one
of
of
the
them.
flyers.
So you volunteer for that position?
I've just done it my whole life.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that begs the question. There must have been times where things didn't land very well.
No. Not always, but it takes patience and
Yeah.
trust. But
So during practice, you're doing it on some pretty thick mats, I would guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you get to a competition, there's a mat, but it's not a thick, comfy pillow that you hit.
I mean, there's like we can use like extra mats on
Yep.
the side, but usually it's just like try a new skill on the mat, like just like we would compete and like go for it and see what happens.
So what's your relationship with cheerleading squads from other towns? Is there a lot of camaraderie, or is there a lot more of competition, or a friendly rivalry? What's that like?
I think it's a mix of both.
Yeah.
I think there's some friendly rivalry, like there's some where it's kind of pushing each other.
Yeah.
We were with Whitman Hanson actually at regionals, and they were super nice. We both won our own divisions, and we were celebrating together.
Well, now you brought up regionals. Let's talk about regionals. You had the South Shore League competition here in Abington, and you used that basically as a stepstone to get to regionals, which you qualified for regionals. Regionals was held at Franklin High School, and we have a video of your performance from that regional performance, and we'll take a look at that right now. The guys in the control room are going to put it up. We're going to take a little look at this 3-minute performance from the Abington High School competition squad.
With 12 competing, please help me welcome to the mats the cheerleaders from Abington.
Here we go!
Okay, so first of all, I want to thank Chloe's mom for that video, and that was your performance at the regional competition. How'd you do?
We won.
You were the champions
we
in
were the
your division,
champions.
right?
We
Yeah.
were.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is absolutely fantastic. What is it that the judges are looking for when they're watching every school do their competition act?
I feel like a lot of the teams are doing the same skills.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how you're executing them and how you're performing them is like a big role. Like once you get closer to states, it's like it's the same difficulty. It's just how you're actually doing it is what becomes important.
And this is really just like any other sport where you go through your season practicing, performing, going through your league competition, hoping you qualify for, in football and basketball, would be the playoffs. Here it's for the regionals, right?
Yeah.
And you guys did it. You got to the regionals and you absolutely won. You kicked it out of the park. And we have your trophy here in the studio, and it's going to be added to, there it is right down in front of the desk. Your regional championships for your class. Congratulations, ladies.
Thank
Thank
you.
What do you see for the future of cheerleading? Just Abington cheerleading has grown so much in the last few years, and even in the 4 years that you've been here, you've said it's just progressed so much. You see a lot of good things coming?
I do. I think that we'll be successful at states, hopefully, with a good outcome, and I think that it'll follow. There's like so many talented kids, and the freshmen are insane, and like I think they'll have a very good future ahead of them.
That's great. Well, with two captains like you, you've really led them, and again, you've done so well this year. I want to congratulate you both, congratulate the entire team. We have to take a break, but we'll be back with two other members of Green Wave sports teams, two of our fantastic members from the Green Wave soccer team will be joining us when we come back from this short break.
Hi, my name is Jameson Gagnon, and I'm a youth heart ambassador for the American Heart Association. And this is my dog Guinness. He's an ambassador too. Today I'm going to talk to you about hands-only CPR. It can save a life. There are 2 simple steps to hands-only CPR. If you see someone collapse into cardiac arrest, you want to act fast. Call 911. That is the first step. Step 2 is to push hard and fast in the center of the chest. You at least want to do 100 to 120 compressions per minute in the center of the chest. Where's your center of the chest, Guinness? Did you know that nationwide 350,000 people suffer from cardiac arrest a year outside of the hospital, and only 10% survive? Guys, we can do better. That's why it's so important for you guys to learn hands-only CPR. Any CPR is better than no CPR. Listen to this song, guys. You should be doing compressions as fast as this beat is. Jameson out.
Welcome back to The Buzz. Before we move on with our second segment, I want to spend a special shout out to Coach Jim Kelleher from the Abington High School football team. Most of you are already aware this is his 50th and final season as the Abington High School football coach. He is the first and only coach in Massachusetts high school football history to actually be the head coach for 50 years at the same high school. So Coach Kelleher is a man amongst men. He's a legacy, an icon in our community. We had a great game. His last home game was at Memorial Field against Pembroke High School, and the Green Wave football team had a wonderful, a thrilling come-from-behind victory for Coach Kell in front of a big crowd of alumni and supporters and fans, and it was just fantastic to see. We're really going to miss him, but I hope the last game of his career will be at Thanksgiving. On Thanksgiving morning, will be played at Whitman Hanson this year, and I'm sure that'll be another big crowd full of tons of alumni to give him best wishes and really to thank Coach Kell for everything you've done for so many thousands of former players, but beyond the players, their families. He's had a great effect on a lot of lives of a lot of young people in this town, and his legacy will live on for many, many years. Right now we're going to shift from football to one of our other favorite sports here at Abington High School, and that's soccer, specifically boys soccer. I want to welcome onto the show. We have two of our senior captains, Liam Murtagh and Rich Galvoa. Welcome aboard, guys.
Thank you.
You guys had another tremendous season this year. You had some real battles on the pitch out there, both home and away. You went into the playoffs, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Tell us a little bit about this year's team and how you guys progressed from the beginning of the season to the end. How much of a challenge was it at the beginning of the season? How'd you do?
I think that at the beginning of the season, we were like, we played well as a team. 7-1 or 7-0 against Holbrook, then 9-1 against Holbrook. I think we started off really strong.
Yeah.
And then towards the middle of the season, we had a couple tough games, but we brought it back towards the end, and that we made playoffs, as you said earlier. So. Yeah,
I mean, you got a strong senior class, and a lot of really strong young guys. I mean, even the freshmen, the sophomores are really strong. And I want to ask you guys specifically about your coaching. You got a real good coaching staff for the Green Wave Boys Soccer team. Talk about, let's throw out some names, and tell me about your coaches for this year.
Obviously, Coach Claus, great coach. He's been with us during our freshman year. When he was a JV coach, he was always still helping us. And then the sideline coaches, Coach Jose Andrade, he's a great guy, and he mainly helps the goalkeepers. Mm-hmm. But he's always like putting in the work with us, and we see him around in the halls at school too, and he's always like giving us like those high fives, and he's a great guy. And Coach Stark, who I believe joined last year, also a great guy, always by our side. He helps more of the players on the field, not so much the goalkeepers, but always right by Coach Claus, and he's just helping us all.
Real knowledgeable guys. I mean, yeah. Coach Claus has been a tremendous asset to the program. I'm a friend of Coach Stark, and he's been a soccer maniac for years. He was a Revolution fan before anybody knew who the Revolution was. So I just know the heart in those coaches is great. It really translates to you guys. I've been to a couple of your games. Most of your games are played on turf, right? Are there any games played on grass anymore? Where's that?
We did, before Rockland got their new turf, we were playing on the Reed Street field in Rockland. Yeah. And this year we were very lucky to have a rainy game on that field. So we ended up losing 3-2 that game. It was the field wasn't great, but then we had them a couple days after and beat them home 3-2. So. I love playing on turf, but like grass is close to home. So like if it's a nice grass field, it's nice. But the turf is mainly what we play on. Two different
games, the way the ball rolls and bounces on the turf versus the grass. Not only for you guys. Well, let me ask you, what position do you guys play on the field?
So I play striker and right wing.
Yep.
And I'm a center mid, and I just float through the whole field.
You're just everywhere.
Everywhere.
Tell me about this guy. Is he any good? Is he?
He's everywhere. Like you said, I'll look behind me and he's chasing down a ball or sticking in a foot to a tackle, and I'll be out wide and I'll pick up my head. He'll give me the eye contact, tell me to go, and he'll pass me the ball and we're in. So.
Rich, if you could tell me, what about Liam Murtagh? How would you describe him as a player?
So, great, versatile player. No matter where you put him, he's a great player, whether it's at striker or on the wing. And he got some time in the midfield as well when we've had men down, and he can play anywhere. And we've played together for, I'd say, 6 years, and also for club outside of Abington as well. So we've gotten that chemistry together and that connection, especially on the field.
You guys, we were talking before the show how you guys both moved to Abington when you were kids.
Yeah.
And soccer is one of the ways you guys really met, right? Yeah. Because you've been playing since what, 6th grade?
We were in the same 6th grade class, and like we both found out we played soccer. So we kind of became friends through that, and then we just go to the field like almost every day, and just the bond grew and the chemistry grew, and here we are sitting as captains of the high school soccer team. So. And
last year, your team was in the playoffs. Yeah. And I was at the game. Had a heartbreaking loss to Cohasset. You guys were up with 2-0 or whatever it was towards the end, and then Cohasset caught up and went into overtime. And we'll put that behind us. This year, as seniors, what's it been like as two of the senior captains? Who are the other captains?
It was Yuri Casimiro, also a senior, and Aiden Grafton, a junior.
Great. So what's it like being a captain of a very successful soccer team?
So I was also a captain last year with Zuzu Hajar and Trevor Grafton. Being a captain, it's a good feeling because everyone looks up to you, they try to follow your footsteps, and the example that you leave behind, you always try to set a good example for yourself, so you're leaving that good example behind. So it's a great feeling. I feel like in order to manage a team, you don't have to be a captain. but just having that armband with you, like, it just gives you that, like, better confidence, I'd say, in a way.
Right. And I asked this of the girls in the cheerleading squad that we talked to before you guys. You remember what it was like to be a freshman, and now you're a senior. So do you kind of keep that in the back of your mind, that what you want to be as a senior captain, how you want to treat the freshmen and the sophomores?
Yeah, I mean, like, you can tell some of the freshmen have a hard time adjusting, and they'll come to us for advice or what to do. And, you know, on the training pitch, if they make a mistake, you know, it's when you tell them, like, it's okay to make mistakes, and they see you make a mistake, it's almost like, wow, like, okay, I guess this is like they look up to us almost.
Right, and they contribute.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're relying on them too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a full team game again out there. You can't have a strong offense and a weak defense. Let's talk about some of the other players. In net, you've got Cam Cooper, right? What year's Cam now?
He's a sophomore.
Sophomore, great. So he's got 2 more years to go. Who else are the other guys? I hear there's this guy, Max Lindo. Well, you guys throw out the names. Who are some of the studs on this team?
Max Lindo, he's a great player. He was playing for the FC Boston Bolts academy team, so the past 2 years he hasn't been able to play because once you're in an academy, you're not allowed to play for a high school team.
Yep.
But then he left the academy this year in order to play high school, and he definitely made a difference playing in the midfield with me and Aiden Grafton. And he is a great player on and off the ball. He's always open, as we always joke around about. But great player.
Great. Who else you got out there?
You know, we're very lucky. Our back line is very solid, actually, and they're all young. We have David Byrne, who's a sophomore, Damian Montero, who's a junior, Cole Lindo, who's also a sophomore, and Matthew Sullivan, who stepped up big time this year, is also a sophomore. So I think the defense is locked in for the next few years. And we also have some of the freshmen coming up as well, and some of the 8th graders that were on the JV team that we'll see in the future.
Who's this guy Yuri everyone hears about?
Yuri is one of the hardest workers, if not the hardest worker on the field, on and off the field. Yuri's always putting in work when we aren't practicing, so on off days I always see Yuri on the field with his dad putting in work, and this season he had a great season. I think he had 22, 23 goals, almost getting that scoring record. And he got the EMAS All-Star, so he'll be playing that game next Saturday, I believe.
That's huge.
But he is a great player, and we are so lucky to have him.
That is tremendous. I mean, you guys, it's fun watching your games, because when you, as a fan watching and not knowing all the kids' names, I couldn't tell you who's a senior and who's a freshman out there, the way you guys play together. I mean, it's kind of cool to watch. And so I give credit to you guys as senior leaders, giving the younger kids the confidence to play right with you guys and to back up each other, to know that if they're open, they're going to get the ball, and if they get the shot, they take the shot, right? So who are the teams that you guys really like to take on in the South Shore League? Are there any 1 or 2 teams that always kind of circle that game on the calendar?
You know, Rockland is obviously a massive game. Like, either home or away, there's always going to be a big crowd. So it kind of boosts us a little bit to fight a little bit harder. And I think now Cohasset is becoming a big game as well. Obviously, them taking us out in the playoffs last year, and then we got close to beating them this year. I think the next couple of years is going to be a big rivalry between us.
Is that where you see the future of Abington soccer? I mean, you guys are going to be moving on as you graduate. What do you see for the next 2 or 3 years for Abington boys soccer?
They're exceptional, with or without us. I think no matter what team they played, they have such a strong team with them and many younger kids to come up to the team. So with the stronger teams that we face, like Cohasset and Norwell, I think we're going to see some positive outcomes in the years to come.
That's awesome. And now you guys went into the playoffs. And you had to get on a bus and drive all the way to Millbury to play against a strong Millbury team. And it wasn't going so great. You guys were down 2-0. You play 40-minute halves. You're halfway into the second half. You only got 20 minutes to go, and then what happened?
You know, I think at halftime we just kind of had a fire in us, and you know, the shots were coming, the chances were being created, and you know, Yuri Casemiro again taking down that left-hand side, pokes it right past the goalkeeper, puts us 2-1, and then was it 2 minutes later, Damian Montero off a header from a corner kick to tie it up. And I think at that point we knew that we were going to win this game, and we just kept pushing and pushing. And then the third goal came from Yuri. Exact same thing as the first goal, going down that left-hand side and poked it past the keeper. So all we had to do then, there was about 30 seconds left. We just had to defend, and the final whistle went, and that was it.
That's got to be amazing. So last year, you kind of lost that way in a playoff game. This year, you win that way in a playoff game. With 20 minutes left, you guys scored 3 goals. Yeah. And I know you mentioned the guys' names who actually scored the goals, but as you know, it's a team. I mean, you're there. Someone had to kick that corner kick. Someone heads it, but you're all, manning up on whoever the defense is. So tell me how you guys got started. You both played youth soccer moving up. Do you think youth soccer really helped develop your skills? I mean, is it a necessary thing if you want to play high school soccer?
Personally, I don't think it's for skills. I think it's to get you into soccer. Like, for me, it was to get me to, like, I wanted to go play, and it makes it fun. You enjoyed the game. And it makes you fall in love with the game. Yeah. So. How about you? Is it something that you already loved, you liked, you were interested in soccer when you joined, or is it something you grew to?
Yeah, I've been playing since I was about 2-3 years old. Really? My dad always had me behind the ball, so it's like I always had that passion for just kicking the ball around. And then when you play with youth soccer, I started getting that competitiveness. Yep. So like I'd always love going against other kids, and when I'd score goals, I'd go nuts. And then I feel like that really just built that fire and that drive to just keep going.
It's kind of in your belly. Exactly. You gotta play, or you just can't sleep, right? And so now, what do you guys do? The soccer season is now ended. Do you guys play any other sports in the winter or the spring?
We both play club soccer.
You do.
So we used to be on the same soccer team. So that goes through the winter into the spring. Yep. So and then
you're staying in shape that way, always playing. Any plans for after graduation yet? Do you know what you're doing next year?
I'm looking at colleges in order to play soccer, but I may be going to Europe as well to play soccer there for a little bit.
Best of luck.
We'll see how that goes.
I might read about you sometime. Check you out on the internet at all. How about you?
Yeah, obviously college is an option. My dad is from Ireland, so in 2021 I went and did a training session with the professional academy over there. Yeah. So that's always an option. I want to see how far the sport can take me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, you guys, again, when I was here in Abington High School, soccer was kind of a secondary sport. The other sports kind of put soccer in the shadows. It has come so far and is now so intense. Of course, this beautiful facility we have here at Abington High School with the 2 turf soccer fields is great. What's the relationship between the boys soccer team and the girls soccer team? Do you guys, when you see each other in the halls, is it a lot of the camaraderie, or are you kind of like a little competition between the teams?
I think there's a good connection because we're always rooting each other on. We practice on one field while they're practicing on the other, so like we're always there side by side, and there's never any hatred or anybody ever putting anyone down. No. We're always lifting each other up. I mean, the girls had an exceptional season this year, making it to playoffs, and I believe it was a while. Yeah. And I mean, they did great. Unfortunately, having that loss, but they should be so proud of their season that they had. Yeah,
again, another huge building program. Soccer is not only fun to play, but now fun to watch here at Abington High School. And we have to send a shout out to Mr. Lindo, who uses his video system to basically tape all of the games, or as many games as possible, so we can replay them here on Abington Cam. And you can always get on YouTube and watch some of these games, especially watch the Millbury game. Fantastic game. After Millbury, the next round you had to play Linfield, the number 2 team in the division. We weren't successful against Linfield, but who cares? With the memories of Millbury and all the regular season were fantastic. I do have to send a shout out at home before we go too much further about some upcoming dates in the winter. You need to circle on your calendar right now. Wednesday, December 20th, there's going to be a hockey doubleheader. It's going to be the girls versus North Quincy at 5:50. And then the boys versus Blue Hills at 7:50 at the Rockland Rink on Summer Street. That's Wednesday, December 20th. Then 2 days later, Friday, December 22nd, a basketball doubleheader. It's going to be a home doubleheader against Carver, featuring the girls team at 5:30, and then the boys teams at 7. So 12:20 December 20, and December 22nd. Circle your calendar if you want to show your Green Wave pride at the hockey rink on December 20th, at the basketball court here at Abington High School on December 22nd. Soccer, it's coming to an end, but tell me what sports means to you as a high school athlete. If you didn't have sports in school, I can't imagine it myself, but what has it done for your making friends, balancing time, keeping in shape? What are the things that you love about being a student athlete?
For me, being a student athlete is really important. You know, it keeps me in shape. The mental health aspect, it's so big. I think it contributes massively.
Yep.
Like, it just fulfills me and makes me happy. And also, I'm gonna have friends for life after this. I like the connections I've made with my teammates. You know, Richard. Like, we've been best friends since 6th grade. Like, I'm gonna have these friends for life because of this. So.
And you might have some place to visit in Europe soon. You know,
Yeah.
who knows? What about you? What's being a student athlete meant to you?
Definitely that feeling of you getting to meet new people, especially your teammates, and that bond that you create with them. And I feel like once you step on that field, like in terms of mental health, it's that escape that you get from reality. Yeah. So the stress that school or work or anything at home that could be putting on you, like as soon as I step on that field, I forget about it all.
Right. So. And if you have a bad play, you've got a dozen guys on your shoulder helping you out, bringing you back up, and they say, you know, next play, and all of a sudden you're scoring a goal or making a great stop or whatever. And I think it's funny, you know, I remember in high school, some of my fondest memories, not only some of the victories, but the bus rides. I mean, just the camaraderie, the friendships that you get, those will never go away. And I'm happy that you guys, it's great to know that you guys have been good friends, best friends for so long, and I'm sure that will stay. I want to congratulate you guys on behalf of your team. Tremendous season. Nice job again as the senior captains, and I know individually you guys were very good players, and you didn't mention yourselves, which is nice, but we know how good a player that you guys are. I wish you best of luck when you graduate, wherever you go. Anything you want to say to mom and dad at home before we wrap it up?
Thanks for driving me everywhere and supporting me.
Thank you for always being by my side. It means the world to me.
All right, so as we wrap up this show and we roll the credits, we're going to show a little clip from the Abington High School Millbury soccer game, so you guys can watch the thrill of victory, which was brought to you by the Abington High School Green Wave soccer team. So, Rich and Liam, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you at the winter sports in the hockey rink, at the basketball court. Indoor track is coming up, when we'll bring you more Green Wave Nation on the Buzz in future episodes. But thanks for tuning in today.